What's good, Washington fans, man? It feels like it's been a while, man. Got a huge game on Sunday against the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. Should be a tough matchup. Like Ron Rivera said, it's going to be a measuring stick. This will be Taylor Heineke. Shout out to him for getting the sponsorship with Bud Light. I really thought Heineken was going to step up and get a sponsorship with him, but it is what it is. Happy for my guy Heineke to get the sponsorship, but this is a measuring stick game, like Ron Rivera said. This will be Taylor Heineke's first road game. This will be the first game where there's, a full week for a team to scout and game plan him. So this will be interesting. This game does give me somewhat of the Steelers vibes from last year where we had a lot of time to prepare and plan for the Buffalo Bills. And, Josh Allen's been struggling, man. He's been struggling. At the time last year, Ben Roethlisberger was struggling. The Steelers were starting to struggle. And then we just exposed the Steelers. And I do see an opportunity where that could happen against the Buffalo Bills. Now, the Buffalo Bills are a good team. Their defense is good. They have a great run game. Josh Allen had an MVP caliber season last year. They did make it to the AFC Championship last year. So I have the utmost respect for the Buffalo Bills and Sean McDermott. We know the storyline with Ron Rivera asking Sean McDermott how to build a team, getting his feedback, and then asking him for tips and whatnot. They coached together and stuff like that. So there is some history in this game, some relationships and whatnot and stuff like that. But this is going to be a tough game for the Washington football team. When I looked at the schedule, I automatically said this was a loss. But looking at it now, I'm like, hey, we have a legitimate shot to win this game. The defense just has to step up here. So before we do get into the key matchups and all that stuff, the keys to victory and stuff like that, let's get to the injury report real quick here. So on our side, we only have two guys on the injury report right now. It's Matt Ioannidis, Matty Ice, and out with a knee. It says he's questionable. They announced it this morning that he's going to be questionable with a knee injury. I would love to have Matty Ice in there. Last year we had to do it without him, and we still did a great job. Tim Settle, other guys can step up. John Allen's had a heck of a year. He's had a heck of a 2 games already. Has 2 sacks already. So he's been playing his butt off. We need Deron Payne to step up. Antonio Gibson is probable. So with the shoulder injury, he's most likely going to play. He was a full participant in practice. Matt Ioannidis was limited in practice. He's going to, like I said, he's going to be questionable. Curtis Samuel was running on the sideline, so that's just an update on him. They have left that roster spot open for Curtis Samuel, so we're hoping that he can come back for that Atlanta Falcons game next Sunday. So the Buffalo Bills, they got a long list. I really think a lot of these players are going to play. They had some guys out for rest who did not practice. Emmanuel Sanders, he's going to play. Gabriel Davis, wide receiver, he's going to play. Ankle limited in practice, he's going to play. Micah Hyde, their safety, he's going to play. Neck limited. Dane Jackson limited, he's going to play. Star Ludaloo, I'm butchering his name, the defensive tackle. A groin injury, did not practice. We'll see what happens with him. I would bet that he would play. Levi Wallace is going to play, was full. Tremaine Edmonds, one of their stud linebackers, had a heat illness, was a full participant in practice. So he's going to play. Cole Beasley's going to play. Jerry Hughes is going to play. All these guys are going to play. They're on the injury list, but I would bet that the majority, 95 or 99% of those guys are going to play. So they have a good receiving core, man. Emmanuel Sanders, Stephon Diggs, and Maryland product, went to Good Counsel High School at Montgomery County. You already know the story about Stephon Diggs. He's a top 5 wide receiver in the league. He played like it last year. They got Cole Beasley, Emmanuel Sanders, Gabriel Davis is a good player for them too. So they got a stud wide receiving core. Dawson Knox is a good tight end for them as well. Devin Singletary's had a great 2 games already. Zach Moss is a good running back as well. So they have an explosive offense. They have a super explosive offense. They have a good team, a good roster. Defensively, the matchups that I'm looking for, we'll get to that real quick, is of course Terry McLaurin versus Tre'Davious White, their stud corner. I think Terry McLaurin is a top 5 wide receiver. I just think the only thing that's been holding him back, of course, is quarterback play. Play with 5 or 6 different quarterbacks. I just like the connection between Terry and Taylor Heineke. I think Taylor Heineke gives Terry a lot of chances. And when he was targeted more, you see what happened in that first game against the Chargers. He didn't get a lot of targets. Finally got some more targets, made some good plays against the Chargers. And then in that Giants game against James Bradbury, top 10, top 5 corner in this league, James Bradbury could not stop that man. He could not check him at all. Terry did whatever he felt like doing. Had 11 catches in that game, went bonkers, went crazy. And I feel like he can do the same thing if we give him the opportunity. So I like that matchup against Tre'Davious White. Another matchup I'm looking for is William Jackson versus Stephon Diggs. That's going to be a tough matchup. Kendall Fuller has struggled. Ben St. Juste is still having that learning curve. So I feel like this is a game where, hey, we're going to have Will Jack possibly shadow Stephon Diggs. We'll see what happens with that. Keep a safety over top. So that will be an interesting match. I'm looking forward to see that one. Another one is Chase Young versus their left tackle, Dion Dawkins. Dion Dawkins had the virus. He was in the hospital for a little bit. The man talked about how rough it was for him, and he's still struggling with his conditioning. He said it hit him hard, and he struggled against the Steelers. He was okay against the Dolphins, but this guy said he really struggled with the virus, and he's still really coming back from that conditioning wise. So him and Montez Sweat, you know, I hate to say take advantage of that, but it is what it is. This is a competition, so you got to take advantage of anything that you can. And Deion Dawkins has struggled so far in these past 2 games. He is a stud left tackle, but this year he has not played like he has in the past few years. So that's something we got to take advantage. Their whole offensive line has struggled so far in the past 2 games. They do have a solid offensive line, but they have struggled. I feel like John Allen, Deron Payne should win their matchups in this game. I think that's something they should take over. Antonio Gibson, we got to run the ball with him, man. 4.8 yards per carry so far. I think the only thing stopping him right now is really Scott Turner's play calling. Got to give him the ball more. If he can just stay strong with the football, not fumble the ball, then he's fine. He had a great game of over 5 yards per carry against the Giants. Keep feeding that man the football. So yeah, defensively, they got some studs, man. Matt Milano, Tre'Davious White, Micah Hyde. They got some great safeties. Levi Wallace is a solid cornerback number 2. So they got some good players. And, of course, Ed Oliver, the guy who stole my name. He's not the real Ed Oliver. You already know what it is. I'm the real Ed Oliver. So, but, yeah, I mean, Josh Allen has struggled. Let's look at some of the numbers for Josh Allen, man. 5.35 yards per pass attempt, which is 33rd out of the 34 quarterbacks that they've been rating in the league so far through 2 games. He has a completion percentage of 55% or 56% right now, which is 31st out of 34 quarterbacks in the league right now, which is pretty darn bad. Now, Josh Allen could have a breakout game against the Washington football team. Our defense has been abysmal. I haven't even looked at our defensive rankings. I don't have to because I know our third down defense is just abysmal this year. Our pass defense is abysmal. Run defense has really not been good either because Daniel Jones did whatever he felt like doing. He had 10 carries for 90-something yards, and then he had a penalty that was called back. Really could have had a $150 or a $120 and a touchdown. Actually, could have had 2 running touchdowns. So that's what concerns me. Josh Allen is a mobile quarterback. We struggle against mobile quarterbacks. He's a guy that is a dual threat quarterback and that can do both. They do run design runs for Josh Allen. So Josh Allen, the thing with him, he does really well when you blitz him, but he struggles when you drop back in coverage. Look at what the Steelers did, somewhat what the Dolphins did. They didn't blitz a lot of guys. They got pressure with their front 4, and we got to win our matchups. Our defensive line has to play up to the hype. Chase Young has to step up. Montez Sweat has 2 sacks already. He's got to keep doing his thing. But this D-line has to step up. Let's get to the keys to the game. Keys of the game. And running the football is going to be huge too. So my keys to the game, of course, first is the defense has to live up to the hype, man. Defensive line has to get there. Like I said, that advantage on Deion Dawkins. Daryl Williams hasn't played great this year either. Their offensive line has struggled so far in these 2 games. But we have to get interior pressure. We have to get the interior pressure and contain. We have to get home. Chase Young, I'm looking at him, man. He's got to step up and live up to the hype. He has made some impact on the games, but you look at the pass moves, I want to see a spin move. I want to see some counter moves. I want to see some different things, mixing it up on these left tackles and right tackles, switch them around. Blitz here and there. I wouldn't blitz too much because Josh Allen is really good against the blitz. So try to confuse. Jack Del Rio has to switch it up too. He hasn't been great in these 2 games either. Communication has to be there. Will Jack in the back end. The Atlanta calls that Darius Slayton play that should have been a touchdown, but he dropped the football. The back end has to be better as well. But our defensive line is going to be key. Getting this pass rush where we can drop back 7 or 6 defensive backs and confuse Josh Allen. You know, have a lineup of, it looks like we're sending 7 guys, but only send 5, only send 4. This pass rush, our front 4 has to win their matchups. That's my first key. Running the football. Let's establish a run game. That's easier. That's the easy thing to say. Could be cliche, but Antonio Gibson has 4.8 yards per carry. I was looking at a stat where Sam Cosmi and Charles Leno, they have been awesome at run blocking so far. They're in the top 10 in highest run block win rate as a tackle. Sam Cosmi has a 90% run block win rate, and then Charles Leno Jr. has an 83% run block win rate. So both those guys have been balling so far. There is room for improvement in pass protection. They have 2 studs. They have a couple of studs at DE. Greg Russo, the draft pick. AJ Epineza, he's had a great start so far. Jerry Hughes is a good pass rusher as well. Mario Addison. All those guys are good pass rushers, so they're going to have their work cut out for them. But running the football, establishing the run, helping out Taylor Heineke so he can do that play action. Taylor Heineke's been great with play action. He's been great where he's been able to have some time in the pocket, move around, create with his feet, off script, move around, where he hit J.D. McKissick for the wheel route, hit Ricky Seals-Jones where he had some time to move around the pocket, move around, hit Ricky Seals-Jones in that corner. So we got to help him out with the run game. Get J.D. McKissick involved, get Jared Patterson involved. My third key is, of course, feeding Terry McLaurin, and also my X factor for this game is going to be Cam Sims. I said he would be an X factor in the Chargers game, but it didn't happen. Didn't get a lot of opportunities. I feel like he needs more opportunities. We were screaming for Gita McKissick to get more opportunities to see what happened. He made that huge play to help us win that game and set up that touchdown for Ricky Seals-Jones. I think Cam Sims, if we want to win this game, just like I brought up the Steelers game, I feel like Cam Sims, he had that big catch against the Steelers. I feel like he can make a huge play and make a play like that against the Bills. I feel like he's going to be that forgotten guy. Everybody's thinking about Terry McLaurin. Everybody's thinking about De'Ami Brown. Everybody's thinking about Adam Humphries, guys like that. But nobody's really thinking about Cam Sims. And I think he needs more opportunity. Just use that big 6'4", 6'5" frame and go up and get it. Taylor Heinicke, just give him a chance. Give the guy a chance. You know, Cam Sims, he's an explosive guy. 3 catches, 110 yards against the Giants. He had some big games last year, and I feel like Cam Sims definitely deserves an opportunity. We need to give him some more chances here. Controlling the clock, run the ball, time of possession, keep the ball out of Josh Allen's hands. Third downs, that's an easy one to say as well. Third downs, we gotta get off the field on third down. We've been awful, 14 for 18 against the Chargers. We did better against the Giants. We gotta get off the field on third downs. And then my biggest key, like I said last game, Ron Rivera, he's gotta be Riverboat Ron. We are underdogs in this game. We are 7.5 point underdogs in this game. We started off as 9.5 point underdogs, but the spread went down to 7.5. And I feel like we're underdogs like this. I feel like Ron, if we get it on their 40-yard line, and there's been 2 opportunities or 2 times, it happened in the Chargers game, it happened in the Giants game, where I feel like we should have went for it. It was 4th and 1 on their 40-yard line. We elected to kick a field goal or punt. I feel like we definitely have to go for it. We cannot be scared. Scared money don't make any money. Ron Rivera has to be Riverboat Ron, make some decisions. We're on the 50-yard line. We got to get this momentum in the crowd. Take the air out of the building. Take the Bills Mafia out of the building. Just take that energy out of the building and just deflate the balloon in the air and get that first down, 4th and 1. I feel like Scott Turner is going to do a trick play or a reverse or something, a flea flicker. I don't care. We are underdogs in this game. We have nothing to lose. I feel like back against the wall, we have nothing to lose. So I feel like, Scott Turner opened up the playbook. Taylor Heinicke is the best with the playbook. He knows the playbook like the back of his hand. Another key is special teams. Dustin Hopkins. I'm going to call him out every game, man. Honestly, that was terrible for him to miss that 48-yard kick. We got lucky as crap that Dexter Lawrence jumped off sides and he got another opportunity. He barely even made the 43-yard kick, to be honest with you. So I'm looking right at Dustin Hopkins. This game could definitely come to a field goal for sure. I got this being a close game. I really do. I have it being a nail biter. Also, their punter, his name is Matt Hack. It's H-A-A-C-K. He had a punt blocked against the Steelers. He's pretty slow with punting the football. They have a good punt returner, a kick returner, and Isaiah McKenzie. So watch out for him. Trust Way, I have no problem with him. We already know he's an all-pro, so there's nothing really to say about him. We already know he's going to get the job done. But watch out for their punt returner and their kick returner. His name is Isaiah McKenzie. Keep an eye on him. I would be very careful kicking him the football, to be honest with you. But Dustin Hopkins, he's got to come through, man. There's going to be some possessions where we're going to need a field goal, as always. And this man can't miss any extra points. He cannot miss any field goals that's less than a 50-yard. If it's 55, I'm like, okay, I'm not mad that he missed it. But if he's missing a 45, 48, 43-yard field goal, it's inexcusable. We just don't have time for that. So let's get to the prediction here. I think it's going to be a super, super close game here. I think it's definitely going to be closer than 7.5 points or whatever the spread has us right now. But I got Taylor Heinicke having a good game. I really do. I believe in him. Scott Turner said some good points about Taylor Heinicke. If he has 5 good games and has 1 bad game, the people are just going to dismiss him because he's undrafted, because he went to Old Dominion, just because he's 6 feet tall, because he's small. People are going to hold him to that standard, because he's undrafted. People are just going to, count him out so quickly. So if he has a bad game, which I don't see him having a bad game this week, I think he would be able to bounce back against the Falcons anyway. But they're going to send the kitchen sink. The offensive line has to hold up. Like I said, Sam Cosmi, Charles Leno, they're great run blockers. They're doing a heck of a job run blocking so far, but they got to step up in pass protection for sure. So my prediction for this game, I think the score is going to be, I have it being 23-17. I do have the Bills winning this game. I still think Josh Allen struggles at some points, but I just don't like some of the linebacker play. We got to get the ball to Logan Thomas too. I like him over the middle against their linebackers as well. Logan Thomas. So yeah, my camera just cut off for some reason, but I got this one being a close one, 23-17. Like I said, we got to get Logan Thomas involved as well over the middle. The Bills have struggled against tight ends in the past, but I got to be in 23-17. I do have us losing this game. It's going to be a close one. Could be 23-20. I can see it going either way, but I have a good feeling. I really do have a good feeling. I feel like we can definitely go into Buffalo and get this dub. And I wouldn't call it upset because if you look at the two games, the Taylor Heineke has been the better quarterback out of two games. Yes, it's a small sample size, but Josh Allen just has not played well on the offensive line for the Bills. Has not played well either. But I have it being 23-17. I just feel like I got a bad feeling Dustin Hopkins is going to miss a field goal. I got a bad feeling that some of the clock management is going to be botched by Ron Rivera and some decision making. And then I just don't trust this defense yet. I really don't. I want to see Cameron Curl get some more snaps, see how Landon Collins does, John Bostic, of course, Cole Holcomb, and Jamin Davis is still learning. I think Ben St. Juste is getting better. But third down conversions, it did get better last game, but just stopping the run with the RPOs with Josh Allen if they decide to do that, and then stopping Stephon Diggs, it's just looking tough. I mean, the defense has to prove me wrong. I really want to see Chase Young be dominant. I want to see him dominate this game. I want them to prove me wrong. I really do. I want them to prove me wrong. Like last year, every time I picked them to lose, I ended up being wrong, and we started winning games. I don't know if that's going to happen on Sunday, but it is what it is on that point. But I just feel like we're going to make some bad decisions down the stretch, coaching-wise, with time management and whatnot. And then I got a bad feeling Dustin Hopkins is definitely going to hurt us with a missed field goal in Buffalo. So, all right, you guys, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what your prediction is. I know people are going to be upset with me because I picked us to lose. It is what it is. I can't pick us to go 16-1. It is what it is. But all right, you guys, hope everybody has a good weekend. Checking with you guys on Sunday. Peace. Hail to the football team.